everyone, this is Mrs. Crossway, and this training is for all proctors that are going to be proctoring the FSA this year. It will all be paper-based. Just as a heads up, if you are a certified teacher, you need to complete the test administration training that I emailed you. You do not need to do the proctor one. So for example, like our specials teachers that proctor sometime, like Miss Gonzalez or Miss Gann, since you're still a certified teacher, I need you to do the teacher training. So if you are not a certified teacher, then I need you to do the proctor training. A lot of it is the same. The proctor training is just a little bit less because I didn't want to give them all the information that you really didn't need. So again, if you are a teacher, you need to log off of here and do the other training. You do not need to do both because it's pretty much almost the same thing. So proctors, welcome and thank you for helping out. And here's our training. We're going to try to make it quick, but just as a reminder, you need to have this video open and listening in one tab, and then in another tab or in another window, have the Nearpod link open as well, because that's how I'm going to track that you've completed the training, and that's where you'll do all of the activities. So if you need to pause, go ahead and pause and make sure that both of these links are open, video and the Nearpod. All right, so just a quick overview for testing. We have 4 different types of tests that are going to be going on campus. First is going to be ELA writing and 3rd grade ELA reading. The writing is a 120-minute session. It's only one time, so they only have to write for one day, and it's only for grades 4 and 5. ELA reading is going to be 80 minutes, and there are 2 sessions, and that's going to be grades 3 through 5. 3rd grade will test earlier in April since it determines if they pass or if they get held back, and then 4th and 5th grade is going to be in May. So reading won't be everybody at one time. Math, 3rd through 5th grade is 80 minutes, and there are 2 sessions or 2 days, and 5th grade has 2 sessions and 80-minute days. It's going to seem like a lot more testing this year because we're also doing e-learning students on a different day, but that won't require everybody testing, just some of us. What's new this year that's different than last year if you've proctored in the past? There's a new accommodation for typing, and we only have 1 student, but that student is actually going to be doing their assessment on a computer. It's going to be a computer-based writing test. The reading, math, and science, there's no writing involved, so they'll be able to take regular paper-based tests. And something else that's new is that in the script, you will not be reading that they need to check for missing or upside down pages. But it's important as they're taking the test to kind of watch out for that and make sure that everything with the booklet is okay. But they won't be checking at the beginning, which is different because even when I was a kid in school, we always checked for missing or upside down pages. So that's different. Some reminders. You're probably going to be helping pass out those books, so make sure that pre-ID label that is stickered on the booklet is going to the correct student. And if the label is not is missing, make sure to put that to the side, get the teacher's attention, get my attention, so that we can fix it. When instructed to do so in the script, they have to complete. They have to write their name, their date of birth, their school name, district name, date, test group code information. So the test administrator is really going to need your help during that part to make sure that everyone's completing all of those things. And remind the teacher that the district name, date, and test group code need to be up on the board as well. For ELA writing assessments, they have to use only the papers that are given to them, which is 1 planning sheet and then their test booklet. They cannot use any other extra paper. So even if they run out of space, you just have to say that that's all that we can give them. They can't have anything extra. So this is where you can pause and complete the first activity on the Nearpod link. It'll be a blue circle over to the right, so you're able to follow along in the PowerPoint to the left, but then on the right there's a blue thing and it's a little activity. So go ahead and pause me and then come back when you're ready. And I'm going to move on. All right, general information about accommodations. Many of you are our ELL paras or ELL proctors to give accommodations to students who have English as their second language. Please make sure that when you're translating for them, you are only translating one word, and they have to ask you what that word is or point it out. You can't translate more than one word, sentences, or directions. If you are a person who is testing with ESE or 504 students who get questions read aloud to them, make sure that you communicate with the teacher and know what parts you can read and what parts you can't. You can't read a whole passage, but if they have the accommodation, you could read a question and the answer choices for them. But again, talk to the people that you're testing with, and they'll let you know who can have what. That information is in their test bucket. ELL students are also given a dictionary and extra time. And remember that at the end of testing, if there are still students who are ELL students that are not done testing, you should not leave the room or your post until all ELL students are done. So if you're posted in a hallway for multiple classrooms or posted in a classroom for just that class, make sure all ELL students have completed their test before you leave. If a majority of kids are done and someone needs to come and pick them up, just give me a quick text or Tatum a text and we'll come pick up the kids so that you can stay in the room with those ELL students. Test security, make sure it is very important that we do not get any tests invalidated. It could lead to loss of teacher certification for teachers. It could involve law enforcement. It's like a big deal. So please make sure that you do not do the following. Don't read or review the passages or test items before, during, or after the test. I know that some of you are going to read them because you have to read them. So I guess try to not remember. I don't know. Don't reveal the passages or test items at all. Don't copy the passages or take pictures of it. Don't explain the reading passages or test items to students. Don't change or interfere with student responses. Don't copy or read student responses, and don't do anything that will cause achievement of the school to be inaccurately measured. So basically, don't cheat. The security of all test materials must be maintained before, during, or after testing. Secure materials must never be left unsecured. So test administrators are going to come check the tests out. Even if they have to go to the bathroom, they need to take the tests with them. I know that sounds really weird, but they cannot leave them with you. You did not sign them out. Stand up for yourself. You do not want to be held responsible for tests that are not signed out to you. So don't take that responsibility if you yourself did not sign out the tests. Test administrators and proctors should not be in the same room as any family members, and I even tried to not have you test in the same grade level where you had a family member. So please let me know if you happen to be testing somebody who is a family member or who is in the same grade, and I will try to switch that for you. Proctors, school personnel, they include preparing and distributing materials, providing accommodations when needed, help monitor the rooms during the test and after the test. And remember that you have to sign the security agreement each time you enter the room or leave the room, so make sure you sign that. Different test materials for 4th and 5th grade writing, they have a test and answer book as well as a writing planning sheet. For the reading test, 3rd through 5th grade, they just have a answer book, a reading test and answer book. It's all like one booklet. Grade 5, they have science. They have a booklet and an answer book because they have to bubble in their answers in a separate place. So that's like annoying, but they have their answers in another place. Grade 3 through 5 mathematics, they just have an answer test and answer book. And they also will have a reference sheet that will either be separate or it's definitely in the book, but I'm trying to determine if we're going to have a separate reference sheet, which will be allowed. Planning sheets are secure materials, so make sure those are collected with the booklets and put back in the bin if you're helping collect the materials, because I have to have those back. Reference sheets, I will also have to take them back. They can't be torn out. The ones that come in the book, they can't be torn out. So that's why we're thinking we're going to give them copies of one. But if you know, like, just make sure the kids are not tearing out their reference sheet at the beginning, and that every reference sheet that's used, they can't keep it for the next day. It has to be put back into their bucket and signed back in with me. So time for activity number 2. Go ahead and press pause, and I will see you back here in a minute. All right, moving on. If a student starts a test session and leaves campus without finishing, they are not allowed to return to the session. So it is our goal, everyone who starts, at least try to get them to finish. If you think a student is not feeling well or will not be able to finish an entire test, don't let them start testing. We want to send them to the clinic. Distributing materials, everyone has to have a number 2 pencil. Distribute test documents, planning sheets, reference sheets. You won't have calculators. You will not have periodic table of elements. That's for higher grades. But please make sure the test materials, everyone gets one, and everything with a name on it, that it goes to the correct student. After you read the testing rules in the script, or after the test administrator does, they're going to have to read and sign the testing rules. If they don't sign the testing rules, they still have to test, but please let me know if someone decides that they don't feel like signing it for some reason. Please keep time, and this is somewhere where you can really help the test administrator. A lot of tests get invalidated because the kids don't have the time that they were supposed to have. So most of the tests are 80 minutes. It gets kind of tough putting start and end times with the break and with adding, the 10-minute warning and all that. So each time the teacher or the test administrator, puts up the time, please double and triple check their time and make sure that you agree with their start and end times. Remember that 504s, kids with IEPs, and ELL students do get extra time. So make sure that they know that as well. Maintain test security. You will have a couple of forms that you're going to need to fill out and sign before you can proctor. So those will be in your boxes. And just get them back and turn them back into me outside of my office. There'll be a place where you can drop them. Next. Make sure you're supervising the test administration. So your full attention should be on the students at all times. Please don't bring a book or a laptop or something to write with. Using your phone to contact me or contact someone if needed is fine, but try to stay off your phone. And your full attention on the kids. You don't necessarily have to be walking around the entire time. You can get up and down, but your full attention has to be on the kids. So just keep in mind all the things that you want to think about for 80 minutes or longer. While students are working, make sure that their desks are clear, that they don't have anything else except for the items that you gave them. They can't have books or notes or scratch paper, especially no electronic devices of any kind, and make sure they have a number 2 pencil, because other kind of pencils and things are not going to pick up their answers. While students are working, make sure that they can't talk to each other and they don't talk and they don't make a disturbance, that they sign the testing rules acknowledgement, and that they're working independently. Students are allowed to use the blank space in the books to work out their things. They can underline, they can circle, they can do all sorts of things inside their books. For writing, they can use their planning sheet to work in their workspace. There's 2 sides to it, and then they can write their response in the book. The planning sheet is not ever graded, so if they start writing on there, hopefully not, just, that's just for writing notes and stuff. All right. You may not talk with students about test items or passages to help them with their answer. So if you're just giving an accommodation, make sure you just read and you don't insinuate any answer or anything like that. While you may prepare students for testing using strategies, you can't keep track on like this person did strategies, this person did not. This person's not working very well, this person tried really hard. I know that that's hard. That's coming from the Florida Department of Education, that we're not allowed to like give incentives or prizes for kids who do what they're supposed to on testing. They say that that like skews their results. So even if we don't agree, sorry, it's a rule. So thank you so much for ensuring a secure and successful spring test administration. I appreciate all of you and your help and the craziness that comes with testing, especially when I'm trying to figure it all out. So again, I just thank you. And for one last thing, there is a little quiz at the end, so make sure you complete that so that you are done with the training. Thank you guys. Bye.